Now you have to accept. Do you see see that you can a question?
It says spelar in.
Yeah.
So I think it's recording.
It is recording now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will go back at the end and show you how to add the different people. So that will come towards the end of the recording. Now we will go to and look at our project. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, you still see the shared screen of the list of people there? Yeah. I'll now go to the project. Yeah, I will now go to the project and we'll have a look at how the reporting looks like. Please close your microphones. You go here to Manage Project under Actions and Manage Project at BROILERNET. Okay. Do you now see the new page? Research and Innovation. We see technical part, financial part, and periodic report. You all see that? Yeah, very good. Very good. This is how it looks like when we're doing the periodic report. And the periodic report is simply the name of the combined combined parts. The periodic report consists of two parts, the technical part, which is the scientific part of the report, which will be made by SLU as coordinator with input from you to Stefan. You will provide input to Stefan via email, and then it will be compiled as the technical part. Then we have the financial part, which each partner will have to log in and add their information themselves. And then we as coordinator will combine all of the financial reports and the technical part into one periodic report that we will submit to the EU. So all of you will need now to go in, when you do the reporting, you will need to click on financial part. Now it opens up a new window and you might not see the new window. Do you see the new window or you don't? No, the new window. Okay, then I will have to share again. Yeah, do you now see the page? Yeah.
Grant management services.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
No, sorry. This is the page that you should see. You now see financial statement.
Project period report, yes.
Yeah. Financial statement. Now we're going to look at how to fill in this financial statement. Now you see that the period that we are reporting is from 1st of August 2022 until 31st of January 2024. So the costs that you are going to report will need to be costs that you had during this period. You cannot report costs that you had before 1st of August 2022. You cannot report costs that you have had after 31st of January 2024. The costs that you have, if you're getting some costs now in February, you will have to report them at the next occasion. So yeah, and hopefully you have a financial system where you have set up a separate project number in your financial system for this project. You will need to have all of these documentation for your costs. You will need to have in a safe place, either on paper or in a folder on a safe server, because some of you, the larger partners, will need to do a audit at the end of the project. So then you will need to provide all of the documentation to your auditor. But even those smaller partners that don't have a budget that is above the 325,000 euros, you will need to have your documentation also available in case you are selected as a random audit from the EU, which can happen until 5 years after the project has closed. So you'll need such things as invoice copies, that they are available, and most important for the personnel cost, that you need to have your time recording, your time sheets where you have recorded all the hours that the people in the project have been working, that you need to have available. So the first thing that you will report is personnel costs, so salaries. I think for most of you, what you will be reporting is the actual personnel cost. Potentially, there might be somebody that are claiming to report according to unit cost. If you are very much aware of that yourself. If you are not aware of that you have planned to claim for unit cost, then it is actual cost that you will be claiming. So actual and real cost you will be claiming. And you will be entering here the total costs in euro for your salaries that you are claiming. Here now I'm entering 100,000 euros claimed as personnel cost. But you will need to report the actual costs here, not an estimated figure of your personnel cost. So, and I will come back to afterwards how you should calculate your personnel costs, because it needs to be calculated according to EU rules, based on the number of hours that you have been reporting. Yeah. Then you go to the very right here. There's a small icon with an R on it. You will need to push that. Then you will need to report the person months that you have been working per work package here. Just excuse me. Yeah. So you'll then select the work package that you will be reporting, and then add. Then you will here be entering the number of person months that you have been working on this work package in this period. And that's for you as a partner as a whole. So you might have been several people that have been working on your work package, but you will combine the full number of person months that you have been working on this work package for your organization. So here I'm entering 1.5 here, and maybe I have been working also on one more work package, on work package 4 also. I add that, and I have been working 2.3 person months on that work package, and one more just so that we have. And then I have been working 4 months on the other work package. So then I have reported, let's say for me as a partner, I've only been working in 3 work packages. Then this is all that I have been working, and I press confirm. I will also press up here, there's a save button. Please remember to save everything, and you can save several times continuously in order to so that you make sure that what you have entered is saved. You will need to convert your hours that you have been reporting to months, and 1 person months in EU is 143.33 hours is 1 person month, and you can then enter your person month with
how many
max
hours
2
did you say?
decimals. 143.33 hours is 1 person month. So yeah. So then you have other types of costs that you need to report, and you might have subcontracting. I'm not sure if any of you will have that. Subcontracting is you have hired external people to do the actual research work in the project. It will, in that case, need to be entered here in that case.
Halvard?
Yeah.
Maybe we should clarify here that
Yeah.
if it's a person that is employed by the research institute or the organization that is employed by the actual organization, it's not an external person.
Yeah.
Because there have been some misunderstanding there.
Yeah. Well, I can say for personal costs, what you report here is salary costs for people who are employed by your organization, that are employed with an employment contract by your organization. It can be a permanent employee or it can be a temporary employee. Either way, then it's reported as personal cost. But if you have hired a consultant to do research work, an external consultant that does not have an employment contract with you, then it would be subcontracting if you're receiving an invoice from the person. I don't think many of you will have that, but in case you do have that, it is subcontracting. Yeah. But if you have hired somebody to, let's do more routine work that is not real research work, if you have hired somebody, an IT consultant, to do a small work on a web page, for example, that is not subcontracting. That is a purchase cost that is reported under other goods, works, and services on this row that I'm showing here. So if it's more just a purchase service who is not doing the actual research work, then it's this row here. Now I'm going to this here. Let's say that I have had 15,000 euros in travel costs. I have purchased some equipment of 5,000. I have also purchased some other works and services that can be lab supplies. It can be a service that I have purchased, an external service for arranging a conference, for example. 10,000.
Halvard, there is a question.
Yeah.
And that is, it's financial analysis hours working for this report allowed to include in the personal cost or subcontracting cost?
What do you say, financial, what? Financial analysis?
The person analyzing the finances and putting doing this report.
Yeah. Normally, the administrative person who is doing this report is usually expected to be covered by the overhead that you receive, the 25% overhead. Usually, if you are only one person working on the project and you're doing everything yourself, including the financial report, then yeah, well, it's up to you, I guess, then. But we normally, universities, for example, they do not charge salary for their administrative people, except the coordinator can do that for the coordinator work, the contact with partners, such as this work that I'm doing right now, for example, could be charged to the project because it is a coordinator work. But normally, I would say that this just entering the figures would be expected to be covered by the 25% overhead normally. Yeah. So I'm just also saving.
There is a comment here. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
No other cost than for those provided activity in the project except coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So if you are a university and you have the economist at the department you're working with that are doing this is expected to be covered with the overhead.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we have overhead.
Yeah, that's why you have overhead. So okay, yeah, because you see here at a row further down here, you have indirect cost. And indirect cost is calculated automatically as 25% of all of your costs, except you don't get overhead on subcontracting in case you have subcontracting. But all on the other types of costs, the salaries and your travels, your equipment and other things, then you get salary. You get overhead. There's also another category, internally invoiced goods and services, which you do get overhead on, but you should, if you have internal invoices from your own organization, then you can report them here, but those invoices should not be including any overhead. You cannot add any your own overhead on that invoice. In that case, you cannot receive overhead on overhead. Yeah, so you receive 25% overhead here, and that's supposed to cover such things as an administrative person doing the reporting. Then we can press the validate button to see what the situation is. Validate is to press to see if everything is complete. We now get a message here that it says that an explanation must be provided for purchase cost items up to the amount that exceeds 15% of the accepted personnel costs. Yeah, so that means that if the costs that we have reported here under purchase costs, if those costs are more than 25% of the personnel cost, then we need to provide an explanation. And that is done here under R, the R icon here. And you will here see that that the amount we need to explain in this case is 15,000 euros. So we need to provide explanations for at least 15,000 euros, or actually more than that. Some partners in other projects have their explanations have summed up to exactly the amount that they're asking to be explained. That will make the EU Commission suspicious, because it's not likely that you have an invoice that happens to be exactly the amount that needs to be explained. So in reality, you need to select costs that sum up to at least the amount that needs to be explained. So you will have to explain a little bit more. the costs here, you will click on the add here. And here you will, for example, it will be travel, or you can say travel to kick off, for example. You will then select the work package that this belongs to. It should be one of the work packages that you're working in. And foreseen in Annex 1, normally that would be yes. If it is the travel that was planned to begin with, if it is regular work that you had originally planned, then it is yes. If it is, you should try to select a type of cost that is foreseen in Annex 1. If it's not foreseen in Annex 1 and it's no, then you will need to provide an explanation for why it was necessary to do this cost. But normally it will be yes. And travel to kick off, and you will then enter here. This was then, it was 2,000 euros, for example. Travel to the kickoff. But then you see that you have explained so far 2,000, so you still need to explain more. You'll click add and have one more row. You maybe had an equipment that was microscope. And that belonged to the work package 5. And that was also planned. And that was maybe 3,000 euros, or it was maybe even more expensive. It was a 5,000 euros microscope, very, yeah. And you have now 7,000. Still not enough. You have to explain more. You click add. And now maybe you have had computer consultant or IT consultant. Work package 2 also, and it's foreseen in Annex 1. And here this was a large consultant here. It was 9,500 for this consultant. No, sorry. So then I have explained in total 16,500 euros. And what I needed to explain was 15,000. So that's more than necessary. So that's good. But make sure that you should explain your actual costs here. And it's easiest to take your larger costs. So if you have one very large invoice for some equipment, it's easiest to take that first instead of doing many different invoices. If the invoice is the same, if you could combine several invoices also. Let's say you have bought a certain type of chemical. You have bought a certain type of liquid, but you have received several invoices for that same type of liquid. In that case, you could combine all those invoices into one row here that you will report here. You will confirm and click save. Save successful. And then we click validate again. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. I see. Okay.
Halvard, there is a question. What if you can't foresee any of these costs? Then you just don't fill in anything.
if you can't foresee these costs.
Yeah, I think within this BROILERNET project there is very little equipment or stuff bought by the different partners. So it's mainly traveling.
If it is only travel, then what you will do then? I'm sorry, I can't. You can't obviously cannot explain more than is in the cell. So, but if your only cost is travel, you would then specify individual trips that you made here in that case. If you need to do that, it would then be the kickoff, for example, kickoff, and you would then add another row, for example, for what could it be? Work package to meeting, for example. Then it would be work package 2, obviously. So you'd specify the different types of trips that you have made.
A clarification here, because I think most partners will not reach this 25%, because I don't think that will be
15%.
15%. According to our application, very few partners would reach that.
Yeah, but you could reach it in one certain period, though. Still, potentially, even if you don't reach the 15% in your budget, you could go above that limit in one certain reporting period if you had many travel costs, for example. So it could potentially happen for somebody, even if they didn't have it in their budget. So when you specified it, you have to do it on the same row on that it belongs to. So now I have been doing the specification and I'm validating. No. Let's see what happens here. Oh, okay. I also add this microscope here then. It's just for it to be able to let's see. So now it should be okay. And now I'm validating. Yeah, validating, and there are no validation errors. So now everything is complete. And if you have saved, you can actually just close the window. Yeah. So now we go back. I'm going to share the other window. Now we're going back to, you see this grant management services, and you see the technical part, financial part, and periodic report. Okay.
Yes.
Now the person who is the financial signatory will need to log in. Well, in this case, we'll have to first push revalidate. Now, and then the person who, well, this correction here, this is not the financial signatory doing it. It is the person who entered the figures in the system. That could be the same person as the financial signatory. Needs to push this lock for review here. Lock for review. Now I'm not pushing it now because we don't want to do it for for SLU, but lock for review, it will then start working, and it will take a few minutes. You will have to wait maybe 5 minutes or so. You will have to leave this page and log back in on the page. Now the financial signatory can log in to the system. And when the financial signatory logs into this page, he or she will then see that instead of lock for review, they will see a yellow button here that says sign. The financial signatory will then push the sign button here and will need to enter their password to the funding and tender portal and click OK. Then the financial report has then been submitted to us as coordinator. And then we as coordinator will be able to examine the financial report and see if we think everything is okay or not. If we think everything is okay, we will then include the financial report in the periodic report. Yeah, so that's it for the reporting. Any more questions on that? Yeah, seems fine. Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible. It's not really about this validation. I think you are going to explain a little bit more the
I will go back
calculation
to
of the cost. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will now just share a little bit about how you should calculate your personnel costs to make sure that you're doing it in the right way. Let's see here. Do you now see a page that says formula? Yeah, formula, yeah. It's pretty simple basically, but your personnel costs need to be calculated as your daily rate, number of the days worked in the project. And you will then need to have to calculate your daily rate, you will take the actual, let's see here. The actual hours worked. No, to calculate the daily rate, you will take the annual personnel cost for the person, the total cost for the person, divided by 215. Then you get a daily rate. Then you will, let's see here, if the person is not fully employed, if the person is only working 50%, for example, then you will have to change the 215 to the half of that, and correspondingly, if they're only working 30% or something. And then you will have to convert the hours worked divided by 8 hours in one working day. You will have the days that you have worked on the project. So you will sum all the hours that you have worked, divide by 8, and then you have the hours worked by the project on the project. For this project, we have been working in 3 different calendar years. You have been working in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So you'll have to calculate a daily rate for 2022, and another for 2023, and another which is only for 1 month. It's for January of this year for 2024. And so yeah, that adds a little bit of extra work to this, but you can do this, for example, in an Excel file pretty easily. So this is the way you should do the calculation. Of course, nobody is checking that you are calculating the salary cost in this way. So if you are calculating your salary costs in a different way, we will not discover it. But for those who need an audit, it will be discovered once the auditor comes, and they will not approve any other salary cost than salary costs calculated according to this way. And also, if you are reporting more salary costs than you are allowed to do, if you are selected by the EU Commission after the project is over and the representatives of the EU Commission comes to your organization, if you have not been calculating the costs correctly, if you have reported more salary costs than what you can report according to this calculation, they will then disapprove the cost that exceeds the allowed cost, and you will then be asked, they will demand that you pay back the money that you have over reported. So I would say that you should have as your goal to report correct costs, even if we're not asking for the documentation from you. But it could happen 6 or 7 years from now that the EU is asking for documentation from you. And if you cannot provide the correct documentation, you might be asked to pay back money to the EU. And you do not want to come in that situation. So that's why you should have as your goal to do here everything according to the rules.
Halvard?
Yeah.
There is a question. How long do we need to keep the records?
5 years after the project is over, after the project is complete. So yeah, so you should make sure that you have the documentation ready.
Should Halvard, excuse me, should that be 5 years after the final report is made or 5 years after the work is ended?
5 years after the work is ended, yes. 5 years after, yeah, exactly.
Can I ask you, for the costs of personnel, you enter also the social costs of the enterprise, or only the salary? The salary plus the social contributions and okay.
All salary costs that you are required to pay by law to a person should be included. So everything that you as an employer have to pay as wage taxes or contributions to pensions, everything that you as an employer have to pay according to the law in your country, all those costs are included in the salary costs. Does it make sense? So if you are deciding to pay things to your employee that is, if things that are not required by law should not be included, I guess you can say. But any type of salary that a person has, if the salary contracts, the salary that a person has in their employment contract, that's the salary that you can report also. Yeah.
Halvard, there is a question as well, and that is what you say now means that timesheets and personal costs should fit together.
Yes, definitely. For sure.
Can I ask you one thing? On the Excel file of the registration we use, I think it was done by you. We must register the holidays and is that relevant for the project to make the holidays and the days we are sick or absent of our work?
Well, it's not totally necessary in the timesheet to also record when you have a holiday. The only requirement from the EU is that you are recording every hour that you're working on the project. But what potentially the EU, this could potentially happen, it has happened to us, is that if the EU person comes to do an special audit of you, like an extraordinary audit, not the normal audit, they might ask to see a printout from your employment system that shows when people have been on holiday. And then they did that to us, and they were analyzing very precisely that when was this person on holiday, and checked if they had reported hours worked on a date that they were on holiday. And if they had done that, if they had reported hours worked on a holiday, then they would subtract those hours from the allowed personnel cost. So they were pretty detailed there. So the recommendation to you, and when you talk to other people in your organization that are working on the project, when you do your time recording, try to do it accurate and that it is correct. Do not do the time recording afterwards, like you're sitting there on the New Year's Eve and doing your time recording for the whole year, and then you're just guessing, and you're maybe writing that you worked 8 hours on a day that you actually were on holiday. Try to avoid that. That's best to avoid that situation. Yeah. Okay. All right. We will then go back and have a look at in the portal where we should how to add new people in the portal, because that might be necessary for you to do. So I will now share the screen again to share the portal. Let's see here.
There is a question.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the value criteria which companies are due to audit review and which can be selected random?
Everybody can be selected by random. Let's see.
So every partner is treated equally here. It doesn't matter if you're a research institute or a private company.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. Any partner can be selected to any partner can be selected to for an EU audit, but it's only those who are well, did I say 325,000? Is 425,000 euros. Those of you who need an audit by an external company, you already know about that. That will have to be done at the end of the project. So yeah.
I think it only will be SLU with the coordinator that will be have that size of the budget. I don't think the other partners have that.
Yeah. So I'm just trying now to share. I'm not able to. Okay. Now I'm sharing here. Yeah, okay. In the portal, you have this menu on your left side. In order to add a person who will be acting as the financial signatory, the person that will sign the financial report, you will need to go to My Organization, and then you will go to the name of your organization and Actions, and then Edit Organization Roles. And then you will click on Add Roles. And then you'll choose the role, which is financial signatory. You will here add the name and the last name and the email of the person who will be acting as the financial signatory. And as always, when you add new people in the portal, it is the email that controls the access. So it's totally important that you enter the email 100% correctly if the person is going to be able to get access to the project. So the email needs to be 100% correct. And then you click Save. And then you will have saved that person as financial signatory. And then you will, after that, need to connect that person to the actual project. You will then need to go to My Projects. You will go to the BROILERNET project, and you will go to Actions and Manage Consortium. And you will go to your organization and Edit Roles. And you will then add roles. And you will choose, well, now you cannot choose financial signatory since we have already added the financial signatory, but you will here, you will choose financial signatory. You will then get a list of people, which for you might be just one person, the person that you added as financial signatory. You will click on that person and click Save, and then the person is connected to the project. This is also the place where you can add new participant contacts. We as coordinators, we're called coordinator contact. For you as participants, partners is called participant contact. And you can then add here as many people as you like by email as participant contacts. The person who is going to add the financial figures for the financial report needs to be participant contact. So if it's the same person who will both be signing the financial report and adding the figures, that person needs to have two roles in the funding and tender portal, both the role of participant contact and the role of financial signatory. Yeah. Okay. I think that was what we needed to go through here. So I think that was it. What we can do now is that we can make this recording available to those who could not attend but who would like to have this information. I guess we can put this on the Teams then in a folder there. So yeah, are there any more questions from anybody? This is the last chance then to ask any more questions.
At this meeting. Otherwise, you can always send an email to us.
It's the last chance in the meeting to send questions, but I'm always available. You can send me an email. And my email is, in case you I'll just write my email here.
Yeah, and I think we are all together in this project, so
Yeah.
don't hesitate. There are no stupid questions and things like that. So it's better that you ask something that you to 98% think it's sure than rather than not asking it.
Yeah.
So please, we can help you.
Yeah, so yeah, please send the email to me or to Stefan if you have a specific question regarding this reporting. And it's better that you start this as quickly as possible, and then you can then ask, we can then have a dialogue and we can answer questions before the deadline in March, 12th of March comes, so that we can solve any problems before that, and that you can be able to submit your report by the deadline, and we can all be able to submit the report to the EU by the deadline to the EU. So it's better to ask questions than just waiting and waiting, and then you don't know what to do, and then you're not doing anything and time flies. That's should be avoided. So yeah, we're available for questions.
May I
Okay.
add?
Yeah.
May I add something, Halvor?
Yes, sure, of course.
Yeah, thank you very much. Interesting to see, and very good into the participant portal. One thing people don't know so much about is the document library. You have all the documents in participant portal. I think it's really good for because I get a lot of questions about the different documents from the project, and people don't have them. They can download it from there.
I can share it also.
Yeah.
So
it's really good
it's
to
not
know and show. You have
it's
all the
yeah,
documentation there.
it's not specifically related to the financial reporting, but
No, but the
it's still
grant
good to have.
agreement,
Yeah.
everything, all the papers are there from documents from. So if you want, for example, what is the original budget, or have there been any changes, but have been anything other things? If you go to my product and the document library on the left.
Yeah, I'm sharing here on the left here, document library.
Yeah. And it takes sometimes 1 minute or two. Sometimes it's faster. And you have all the documentations here. Official documents.
And for example, the grant agreement, if you need to look at the contract, it's here.
Yeah, you can download it from here, the grant agreement, if you click on it.
Yeah, it's well, it's pretty,
you can click on it,
it's pretty big. So I'm not downloading it now.
No,
big,
but I was it's hiding behind.
Yeah.
And there's the evaluation and comments, and so this is really good. It will be all documentation, official documents from the start application to the. You have the proposal on the first, for example, and other things. Yeah.
And also what I can say here is once we have submitted the periodic report with the technical part and the financial part, that will then be available here later on, that if we need to go back to check how did our report for the period 1 look like, we can go here and it will be available here as an archive, so to speak, that we can go back and have a look at it. So thank you, Christer.
Yeah.
This is it's a good thing to know for everybody, that you have this document library where you can have it's as and this will also be available for quite some time, even after the project has closed. You can still see this. So that's very, very good to know that you have that all of this is available here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for attending, and good luck with the reporting. And
thank you very much to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Halvard.
Thank you. I say goodbye to everybody new and wish you a good weekend later. also.
You too.
Okay,
Bye bye.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
bye-bye.
Bye.